Hi. Let us now look at assessment criteria 3.4 for societal marketing. So in terms of 3.4, we are going to look at some of the metrics or measures, which can be used in societal marketing to track the progress or the performance of an organization in delivering social objectives, right? So we're going to investigate a few areas. So the first thing is, if you are to achieve societal marketing goals, you need to measure it and you need to integrate your societal marketing goals to your business objectives, Because if you start competing saying, my business is impacted because of my societal marketing action plan, then you will not have the motivation to go through with the societal marketing plan. So you need to make sure that it is linked to the business objectives, so that the more you invest in societal marketing, CSR, community, environment, all that, it will increase your sales and your business. So you need to find that formula. Perhaps like companies like Dilma in Sri Lanka has found that formula. Companies like MAS has found that formula, right? So in terms of community impact, you can set some goals. You can invest a percentage of revenue or profits, which you can donate to social causes. And that is a must. You can also write this off against your taxes, which is a very strong reason that some companies invest in this, because they can write off. There are tax write-offs. You can increase the number of volunteer hours of employees to spend in community service. That will encourage people. I know of companies who do that. I know of companies that once a year give their staff certain amount of days, let's say 3 or 4 days leave, in addition to all the other leave, to go and serve the community and to do something good. So those employees will go and spend a day in the cancer hospital, will go for the home, will go to the home for the aged, or will go and do a beach cleanup. So it's a nice thing to do. Of course, it must be a genuine effort, and employees must also really use that, not stay at home. Okay. So education and skill development. The number of students or individuals trained or supported, especially in a community, can be even on a respective area. Then healthcare access, number of people benefiting from the company sponsored by health programs. Sponsored health programs. I know of some banks in Sri Lanka pay for special health insurance, health checkups, health programs for their employees. And finally, disaster relief contributions, funds or resources provided for emergency responses. So community impact, there can be a few things you can undertake. And in terms of EDI or DEI, however you want to use it, that is diversity, equity, and inclusion. So you can encourage as an objective a percentage of your employees from the underrepresented groups. So it can be LGBTQ, It can be more females. It can be some handicapped people. So workforce diversity. Gender pay gap, the ratio of female to male wages across roles. Increasingly, there is more amount of females joining management roles, but it's still not enough. Promotion and retention rates, the percentage of diverse employees promoted and retained. And today, companies are looking at this. I was watching CNN yesterday, and I noticed there is a TV presenter without hands and legs. There is a TV presenter without hand, and he's really good at his job, even without the hands and legs. So he's handicapped. He doesn't have both hands and legs. I don't know whether it is an accident or whether it's like that from birth, but he speaks really well. And they engage him in travel, CNN travel. So he goes to all the places in the world, exotic places, and he explains the culture, the food, right? It's a fantastic program. And he's really good. He's very, very good in his explanation. And some of these handicapped people are really good at their job, sometimes much more loyal, much more competent, efficient than us who have all our limbs and eyes and everything. It is the truth because they try harder and they know what it is to be sort of marginalized. So they are really good at what they do. So you have to give them a chance. Many companies don't give them a chance, but some do. And you can see today the world is changing. And that is this DEI. What can you do to impact the community? And inclusive hiring practices, percentage of job openings filled through diverse hiring programs, employee engagement and CSR, promotion and retention rates of diverse employees that you will retain in the organization. So human rights and ethical business practice related objectives, fair wages and benefits, number of employees earning a proper wage, right? Not just a little above the mandated legal lowest wage, right? Labor standards and compliance, number of ethical violations or compliance cases against the organization. Those are human rights, ethical business practice issues. Supplier ESG compliance, number of suppliers meeting the ethical sourcing guidelines. Employee well-being and satisfaction, survey scores and turnover rates, all these can be measured. Human rights impact, number of workers positively affected by fair labor practices. Then you can set objectives with regards to the carbon footprint, emission reductions, environmental objectives. So you can measure your CO2 emissions, carbon footprint. There are carbon calculators. I have given you a few as well that you can play around with. So a company can calculate its carbon footprint. Carbon offsetting and reduction, that is, what do you do to bring back the O2, the oxygen levels? You can grow trees, you can do so many things. The percentage of emissions offset through green initiatives, solar and other energies that are environmental friendly, renewable energy usage, percentage of total energy sourced from renewables, fleet and transportation emissions, reduction in fossil fuel-based transport emissions, net zero goals, progress towards achieving carbon neutrality. So you can see there's so much that you can do from an environmental standpoint. Sustainable resources and use of waste management. So recycling, water usage, waste diversion, especially recycled versus sent to landfills, plastic reduction, single-use plastic reduction, circular economy initiatives, as well as sustainable packaging. So these are all areas that an organization can embrace in its societal marketing agenda. You can set objectives related to biodiversity and conservation, reforestation and land restoration, sustainable agriculture if you are using raw materials, and wildlife protection. Some companies do this passionately. Wildlife protection, you are the voice to the animals out there who can't talk, can't speak, can't express themselves. So it is a very, very emotional attachment that you can build around the brand, because there are so many enthusiasts who love the environment, the jungles, the animals. Water protection, water protection. Water pollution is a big problem because of waste discharge, or simply the fact that some countries don't have access to water because they're close to the equator, or they're in a desert. So they don't have access to water. So water is a luxury in some countries, like Singapore. Business impact matrix, linking CSR with business goals. So this is very important. How do you find this link between your business goals and your societal marketing, your CSR efforts? So there are some measures. Matrix means measures. Remember, what gets measured gets done. What gets measured gets done. So the customer perception of CSR, the ESG ratings and the rankings can be measured. There are different indexes that are published. Then you can also do what we call a media sentiment analysis or a media sentiment analysis. That is the number of press coverage, public relations, and the perception of press coverage and the PR of CSR activities. You can measure it by column centimeters, especially in the printed press. Then financial and market impact. The sustainable products that you have in your product portfolio, what is the percentage of the revenue that are generated from your sustainable products? The cost savings from the sustainability, energy efficiency, waste reduction, water conservation, investor and shareholder engagement in ESG, and finally, market share growth from CSR efforts. So these are all things that one can undertake to set objectives and measure the goals. Ethical marketing practice matrix. The consumer complaint rate on misleading ads. Now, this is something that the board of directors need to worry about, because marketers sometimes are guilty of this sin. So the board of directors should be worried about the ethics that are upheld in the organization, which will impact the corporate reputation. The entire business will get damaged. So how do you measure this? The ethical marketing practice measures. So the number of complaints that are going up, especially about misleading ads or missed sales. Number of complaints related to deceptive marketing practices. The product labeling accuracy. The percentage of products with clear, accurate descriptions, organic, fair trade, cruelty-free. The customer perception of brand ethics. The surveys on ethical business practices. You can get feedback. the brand trust index, the net promoter scores, and social media sentiment analysis, number of positive versus negative mentions. So these are all things that one can do to ensure you are measuring your ethical stance in the organization. Then in terms of employee engagement and well-being, the employee satisfaction scores, employee net promoter scores, how many of them will promote the company, the voluntary turnover rate, right? Number of employees leaving the company voluntarily, lower rates indicate higher engagement. Absenteeism rate, if there's lack of motivation, there'll be a lot of absentees. Internal mobility rate, number of employees promoted or moving to new internal roles. Participation in engagement programs, number of employees involved in mentorships, leaderships, and CSR program, field trips. Recognition and rewards, participation. Number of employees recognized for their achievement. So you can see there are so many things you can do around motivating employees. Workplace stress levels, some companies organize yoga programs, some companies have gyms, some companies have therapists, massage therapists, right? In Sri Lanka. Mental health support utilization. So you can have mental health related advice, workshops, resources like books, podcasts, therapy, mindfulness programs, sick leave and burnout indicators, overtime hours worked, flexible work and remote work adoption, the pay equity ratio, the retention of diverse talent, the level of innovation and idea contribution. So you can see there are so many ways in which employees can engage, and you can look at employee well-being. I mean, mental health awareness and the focus on a mental health strategy for an organization has become really critical today post-COVID, right? So these are some of the areas that you can use to measure the company's societal marketing efforts. You can look at internally and measure these factors so that everything gets measured, will get implemented. All right. Thank you very much.